Hello dear children. So today let us learn about time. Okay, so children, think that suppose there were no clock. So think that there were no clocks. Clocks, right? So how would you know when to go to school? Suppose if there is no clock, so how do you know when to go to school? So by seeing the time, you will go to school, right? So think that there is no clock to see the time. So how would you know that when to go to school? And how would you know when it is a lunch time? By seeing the time, you will have your lunch, right? Yes, even you will have your dinner, even you will have your breakfast. So, how would you know if there is no clocks? How do you know that when it is lunchtime? And how do you know when it is a time to sleep? Yes? So, you all will go to bed by seeing the time, right? Yes. So, suppose there is no clock. So, how do you know that? So, when it is the time to sleep? Yes? Yes. By seeing the sun? Yes, absolutely. So by seeing the sun rises. So by seeing the sun rises, you will be wake up from your bed, right? Yes. So by seeing the sunset, so you will be knowing it is a time to sleep. So in the lesson directions, so in the previous lesson direction, you all learned that sun rises in the east. So, when the sun rises, there is light all around. So, morning you can see when the sun rises, there is light all around, right? So, when the sun sets, there is no light. So, it is dark. So, when the sun rises, there is light all around. So it is called as morning. So when the sun rises, there is a light all around. So it is morning. Even the cock crows and other birds chirp when the sun rises. So even the cock also crows, right? Yes, do you know how the cock crows? Yes, can you make a sound? How the cock crows? Yes. So even some birds also will chirp. So even some birds early morning you come out of your house and see all the birds will be chirping. So all the birds will make sounds, right? So you try this. So tomorrow morning you wake up early and come out of your house and see all the birds will be chirping. So when the sun rises. So it is a time to work and play. So when the sun rises, all will wake up and do their works. So when the sun is right above our head, we call it noon. So when the sun is above our head, so we call that as noon. At the time when the sun comes above our head, that we call it as noon. So it is afternoon. So when sun is at its brightest at this time. So when the noon, it is a brightest. So during the noon time, the sun will be brightest. So when the sun sets, is sun set in the evening. So the sun set in the west. So sun rises in the east and sun set in the west. So when the sun sets in the evening, slowly it begins to get dark. So when the sun sets, it is the time to get dark. So it will get dark. So even you can see stars, moon in the sky. So stars and moon appears in the sky. So it is night. So it is now time to sleep and gives our body rest. So morning all will be busy with their work. So we want rest, right? So when the sun sets, so it is night. So during the night time, it is the time to sleep and it will give our body rest. So children, do you all know to read the time? Yes. So now let's see the telling the time. So long ago there were no clocks or watches. So long ago people, they didn't had any clocks or watches. Nowadays we see clocks or watches if you want to see the time. So if you want to see the time, we will see the clocks or watches. But in long ago, these olden days, they didn't had any clocks or watches. So then how did they see the time? So during the daytime, people guess the time by looking at the position of the sun and the length of the shadow. So how they were using, so how they were seeing the time is by seeing the position of the sun, by seeing where the sun is standing, and by seeing the length of the shadows. So if the length of the shadow is long, they think it is morning and evening. So even you can try this. If you go and stand outside, if your shadow is longest, so it is morning. Even evening also your shadow will be longest. So in the first picture you can see this shadow is longest. So in evening also the shadow is longest. So it is, so when the shadow is longest, it is morning and it is evening. So if the shadow is shortest, it is noon. So in this picture you can see shadow is shortest. You can see, you can try this experiment. So go out and stand and see if the shadow is long or if the shadow is short. So, but now we have clocks and watches to tell us the time. So nowadays we use different kinds of clocks, even different kinds of watches to tell the time. So when the long hand of the clock completes one round, we know that 1 hour has passed. So the small hand of the clock points to the hour. So what is this, children? As this is clock, right? Is so this is a face of the clock. So you can see 2 hands in the clock. So like us, clock is also having 2 hands. So one is short hand and another one is long hand. So you can see it is a short hand and it is a long hand. So when this long hand, so you can see this long hand moving, right? So when this long hand completes 1 round, so you can see this long as is completed 1 round. So we know that 1 hour is passed. So you can see here this short hand is at the 1. So long hand is at the 12. So this long hand will complete 1 round. So it means 1 hour is passed. So this short hand, so you can see this short hand also moving, right? Yes. So this short hand of the clock points to the hour. So it is short hand, right? So this short hand points to 3 and long hand points to 12. So it means, yes, it means it is 3 o'clock. So there are 24 hours in a day. So this long hand, it is a minute hand, and this short hand, it is a hour hand. So now can you say where is the minute hand? Yes, minute hand is at the 12. So hour hand, as hour hand is at 4. So it is 4 o'clock, right? Yes, now can you see where is the minute hand? Yes, minute hand is at 12. Hour hand is at 5. Right? So what's the time now? As it is 5 o'clock. So now, where is the minute hand? Yes, minute hand is at the 12. So hour hand is at 6. So it is o'clock. So here you can see, so this minute hand is at 1 and hour hand is 6. So what's the time now? Yes, it is 6 o'clock 5 minutes. So this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it will complete one round, right? So it means 1 hour has completed. So when this minute hand is at 1, it means, and our hand is at 7. So it means 7 o'clock 5 minutes. So when it comes to 2, it means 7 o'clock 10 minutes. So when it's come to 3, it means 7 o'clock 15 minutes. So when it's come to 4, it means 7 o'clock 20 minutes. So when it comes to 5, it means 7 o'clock 25 minutes. So when it comes to 6, it means 7 o'clock 30 minutes. So when it comes to 7, it means 7 o'clock 35 minutes. When it comes to 8, it means 7 o'clock 40 minutes. When it comes to 9, 7 o'clock 45 minutes. When it comes to 10, 7 o'clock 50 minutes. When it comes to 11, it means 7 o'clock 55 minutes. When it comes to 12, it means 8 o'clock. This hour hand is direct pointing to 8 and its minute hand is pointing to 12. It means 8 o'clock. So there is an exercise activity in page number 83. So it is, you should draw the two hands of the clock to show the time written below. So here they gave time. So it is 8 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 11 o'clock and 7 o'clock. So they gave time and you should draw two hands of the clock to show it is 8 o'clock. So one example I have done here. So it is 8 o'clock. So minute hand should be at 12 and hour hand should be at 8. So because 8 o'clock. So it is 8 o'clock. Two hands you should draw. 3 o'clock. You should show two hands. By drawing the two hands, you should show it is 3 o'clock and it is 11 o'clock and it is 7 o'clock. You should do this activity in your textbook. Even there is another activity at page number 82. So you should write what time do you think it is. So write the answer beside the picture. So by seeing the picture, you should write what's the time it is. So for example, so the sun is rising. So sun is rising and girl is on the bed. So what the time it is? Yes, it may be 6 o'clock, right? This morning, right? So it may be 6 o'clock. So by seeing the picture, you should guess what the time may be. So another activity is page number 84. You should look at the time shown on the clock and fill in the box below. So one example is done for you. It is 11 o'clock 20 minutes. So it is 11:20. So hour hand is at 11 and minute hand is at 4. So it means is 11:20. It's the same way you should see this clock and write what's the time it is.